manghihingi
I
lang yan.
said stop! You too!
I'm warning you!
Mga kasama! Tulungan niyo ako! Binabaril ako! Isang lolo! Isang lolo! Lolo!
Why does the general, whose only wish is to organize a professional guerrilla soldiers, is needed to be murdered by President Aguinaldo's men? Is there any conspiracy in it? This and more when we return.
50 years
Cayetano,
panay na lang Marcos, Cuangco at Aquino.
Well, thank you for this chance
Marcos.
to speak to the issues of the day.
Ito, kaya inaayos
Robredo.
namin ang governance, kaya inaayos namin yung korupsyon.
Bahid sa korupsyon.
Marcos.
Itong record na po ito ay ipapagpatuloy ko.
if you think that the word wars, criticisms, and backstabbing among our politicians today sucks, they were all nothing compared during the days of our grandfathers when backstabbing is literally stabbing in broad daylight. The one who was brutally murdered, it was General Antonioluna. Even in his younger years, he already showed arrogance in his character and a natural bully to others. With his volatile temper and sharp tongue, he would not realize that he came from a badass clan of professionals.
Hindi tayo mamamasyal! Baba! Baba! Baba!
But Antonio Luna is not really far behind. According to the author of the book, The Rise and Fall of Antonio Luna, he used his being a smart ass to study the different military strategies.
Kano aatras tayo papuntang norte.
Si Luna bilang sundalo, ang word na pumapasok sa isip ko, yung pagiging disiplinarya niya. Siya yung tunay na siga.
Teenage years niya, interesado na siya dyan eh. Mga 16 anyos, nag-aaral siya ng military tactics sa isang retired Spanish colonel.
But it doesn't end there. In 1881, he obtained his Bachelor of Arts degree from Ateneo Municipal de Manila. Then he enrolled again at the University of Santo Tomas to take up pharmacy. In 1886, he was sent to Spain to continue his studies. He earned a license in pharmacy at the Universidad de Barcelona in Spain, and in 1890 was conferred a doctorate in pharmacy by the Universidad Central de Madrid. While in Spain, Luna joined the propaganda movement, a cultural and literary organization of Filipino expatriates. Together with Gat Jose Rizal, Luna wrote in La Solidaridad, a newspaper published by the propagandists in Spain. He wrote under the pen name Taga-Ilog.
Minsan nagkaroon siya ng away kasi nagsulat siya ng isang artikulo na talagang tinuligsa ng isang Kastila ang pangalan ni Mirdeas. Si Mirdeas ay ininsulto niya hindi lang yung mga Pilipino. Akala niya rin yung si Taga-Ilog, hindi si Antonio, si Juan Luna. So ang ginawa niya, nakipagduelo siya.
If the issues about his brother Juan hurt him, you're in for a surprise on the issues about his love. The half-British, half-Filipina, Nelly Boosted, is the one who softened the heart of Antonio. And he told about this to his friend Jose Rizal.
Umidiskarte itong si Rizal kay Nelly. No? At eventually, si Nelly at si Rizal ay nagkaroon ng relasyon at muntik nang magpakasal.
And because Antonio felt he was friend-zoned by Nelly Boosted, Pepe and Antonio nearly killed each other for her. Though depressed and heartbroken, Luna went to Paris and worked at the Institut Pasteur, where he did research in histology and bacteriology. In 1894, he went back to the Philippines with a commission from the Spanish government to study the bacteriology of contagious diseases.
Pinag-aaralan niya ay Carabao milk at saka yung sakit na malaria. So, ibig sabihin, nag-aaral siya ng mga sakit, ng mga bagay na maaaring makatulong.
While in Manila, Antonio and his brother Juan opened a fencing school, the Sala de Armas on Calle Alix, now Legarda Street, in Sampaloc. A graduate of pharmacy in Spain, later became an award-winning chemist. How on earth a genius scientist like him became an army general? With the continued conquest of Spain, the Katipunan needed to strengthen their force. The Katipunan asked for the support of Jose Rizal, but he declined because he was against an armed revolution. But instead advised Dr. Pio Valenzuela, the one sent by the Katipunan to ask for his support, to recruit Antonio Luna as part of the group. But the problem is, Luna also rejected the invitation because he knows that the Katipunan is far from being ready for the revolution. So how it happened that a genius and expert in military tactics like Antonio Luna was outsmarted by his enemies? On January 23, 1899, Aguinaldo proclaimed the First Philippine Republic, or the Malolos Republic, with him as the president. To be acknowledged as an independent government, the Philippine Republic need to have members of the cabinet, and one of them is Antonio Luna. The sad thing is, some of the members of the cabinet has their own personal motives from the start. Under the command of President Aguinaldo, year 1898, Antonio Luna was duly assigned as Director of War upon the recommendation of Philippine diplomat to Paris, Attorney Felipe Agoncillo. Luna was joined by his longtime trusted General Jose Alejandrino in his group. And the first thing General Antonio Luna wanted to achieve was to have a well-trained and modern army.
Basically, kailangan meron kang uniforme. Hindi pwedeng lousy ang mga itsura ninyo. So, dinesign ng kapatid niyang si Juan Luna yung Rayadillo version ng Republika Filipina. That's one. Tapos yung standardization ng uniforme.
General Luna noticed the rise of different factions in the government. So he started to unite the soldiers of different provinces. But because the new setup that Luna is trying to build, it is unavoidable to feel a little bit tension among the group. One document that can prove that Antonio Luna was a strict disciplinarian, the Artikulo 1. It states there that whoever breaks away from the army is punishable by death. Thus, he was later known as General Artikulo 1. And as expected, he alienated many officers and men in ranks and do not consider him as their leader.
Tayo sa baliw na lunang yun. Pinahiyaan niya tayong mga kabitenyo.
But no one can stop him from being good in military tactics and strategies. He applied all the trainings he learned from the Belgian General Gerard Matthew Lehman about European formation and other theories on military warfare that gives importance to the defense.
Well, number one dyan, yung Battle of Caloocan. So, didepensahan niya yung defense line ng Republika ng Pilipinas against the American lines. Kasi yun yung panahon na ine-encroach na ng mga Amerikano ang boundary ng gobyernong Pilipino ng panahon na yun.
But despite of being a good strategist, did you know that General Luna never won any battles he fought in? He almost lost the battle in Bagbag, Valenzuela, and he need to ask for reinforcement from Cavite General Tomas Mascardo, but he was stood up by him.
Sabi niya ni Luna, punta ka dito sa Bagbag, no? I-defend natin to. Sabi ni Mascardo, hindi, dahil may inaasikaso ko dito sa riot, may festival, ganun-ganon.
Nakuha yung Bagbag ng mga Amerikano dahil si Antonio Luna ay umalis para para makipagkumpronta kay Mascardo.
The same happened when he asked for reinforcement from another Cavite captain Pedro Hanolino.
Hindi dumating si Hanolino. Nireklamo ngayon ni General Antonioluna kay Aguinaldo, parusahan mo yung mga army mo. Alam mo kung anong sabi ni anong nangyari? Hindi tinanggal. Nakita ni Antonio, nakasama pa rin sa army yung batalyong Kawit at si Pedro Hanolino.
Mascardo and Hanolino are known as the Kawit Men, and both were proteges of Aguinaldo. But the issue about General Luna doesn't end with the soldiers. Even some of the elites and educated people of the country fixed out on him. On May 5, 1899, the Schuman Commission proposed what they called autonomy for the Philippines, but the US President would hold absolute power in it. What Luna wanted was a total independence from the US, and by that, some Ilustrados disagreed and wanted the autonomy offered by the US instead. Needless to say, those who were against Luna all came out. In one cabinet meeting with the President Aguinaldo, Felipe Buencamino, then Foreign Affairs Secretary, suggested to surrender the Republic and accept the autonomy of the US. Of course, Buencamino and the rest rounded Aguinaldo's head and agreed to Buencamino's proposal. And this is what happened. General Luna turned beast mode and Aguinaldo was startled to what he did.
Sinampal niya ngayon si Buencamino. So, nainsulto.
Luna became a big threat to Aguinaldo and friends, so they spilled out all sorts of issues about him. This summarizes what Aguinaldo's strategy now. Knock out not only the Americans, but also those who will be obstructions to my plans. But while General Luna was the first general who dreamed of having a modern and professional army and a good military strategist, would be seen as a threat to the revolution, and they want him dead. From Malolos, the Philippine Republic's presidential headquarters was transferred to the Cathedral of St. Nicholas of Tolentino, now known as the Cabanatuan Cathedral. On June 5, 1899, it is also here, this place, when Antonio's life was ended. On the night of May 27, 1899, according to some historians, President Aguinaldo, Paterno, and Buencamino allegedly had a meeting in Cabanatuan headquarters. On June 4, 1899, Antonio Luna, who was in Tarlac at that time, received a telegram summoning him to a conference with the President Emilioaguinaldo in Cabanatuan. On June 5, Luna and his party arrived at the outskirts of Cabanatuan, but the broken bridge threatened to delay the whole party. The impatient general left his escort and proceeded to his summons, accompanied only by Colonel Paco Roman and Captain Eduardo Rusca. The first man the general met was Pedro Hanolino, an officer he had disarmed in Angeles for cowardice.
Tahimik lang si Hanolino, tinuro niya nasa taas. So akyat ngayon dun sa hagdanan si Antonio. Kita niya ngayon, nandun si Buencamino. So nangyari, biglang habang nag-aaway sila, nagbumurahan sila ngayon ni Buencamino at si Antonio, biglang may narinig na putok. Baba ngayon si Antonio. Sabi ni Antonio, sino yung nagpaputok?
As usual, his famous temper provoked General Luna slapped Hanolino, who failed to salute him, but this seemed to be his last outburst of rage. Did you know that here in Plaza Lucero, Antonio Luna was assassinated together with Colonel Francisco Paco Roman? Luna was stabbed with polo knives and dagger more than 30 times. A day after his tragic end, General Luna was buried by the same assassins who killed him. There was no investigations made, and the assassins all went free. Their own general, a valiant fighter, and a military genius who was disobeyed and killed? Is that how vague the politics ran in those times? Until his bitter end, General Luna is a failure. He failed to uplift and give discipline to the Philippine Army. It is unacceptable that the reason why Antonioluna was killed because of his intention of uniting the revolutionary force. If there is one person who think of having a professional, modernized, and well-equipped army, it's none other than General Antonioluna. And if there were really traitors in the group, they were no other than Aguinaldo's dogs. But it's just so disappointing and sad to feel that these things are still happening until now.